Students, this is Professor Harsha Jadhav and I am going to deal with the subject Urban Transportation Planning with the subject code 17CV751. So as far as the last class is concerned, that is under module number 3 and lesson number 17, we discussed on trip generation problems. Okay, we focused on many of the trip generation concept. What do you mean by trip generation? How the trips are generated, and even we focused on what do you mean by trip production and the trip attraction. These concepts we studied. So even we focused on home based trips and non home based trips. What do you mean by home based trips? Home based trips are those trips which are started from a resident and ends at the workplace. What do you mean by non-home based trip? These trips, it neither starts at home or residence nor it ends at home. For example, let us consider an employee who has traveled right from a residence in the morning and he reaches the employment place, his working place. From that working place, he thought of buying some vegetables or anything, groceries. So he will move to the market. The trip between that office to the market is non-home based trip, because either the origin is home nor the destination. So after his work, he'll go back to office and he'll return to the home, but ultimately come to the residence. Ultimately come to his residence by night. So only, but next day he may go to market or he may not from the office. Okay. Next day he may go to market from the office or he may not, but it is not a fixed trip. But obviously he will go from his residence to the office 100% by next day. So these are the fixed trip. So this concept we discussed, and even we focused on the few of the numerical problems with the matrix table, and we generated the trip generation models, and we got to know what do you mean by trip generation models. See, after this trip generation models, we will focus on a small concept that is called as category analysis. We will today in this class, that is under the module number 3 and lesson number 18, we will focus on category analysis, household models and trip attraction, the concept of trip attraction. So what do you mean by category analysis? Category analysis is nothing but cross category analysis or cross classification. What do you mean by cross classification? We have socio-economic factors, we have dependent and independent variables in the trip generation concept that I have discussed in the last class. Y is equals to a plus bx, this concept is there, or cx square is there, or many, if it is a multilinear regression equation, n number of constants will be there, and adjacent to that relating n number of independent variables will be there. But this relation in the trip generation model, it is between independent variable and independent variable. Okay, see this independent variables whatever are there here, like x square, x cube, like that, these all termed as independent variables. These independent variables, again they are classified from a household, like from if we can consider a one residence or a one household. In that one household, these independent variables are again categorized, cross classified, they are subdivided, like number of trips to the office, number of trips to the government office, number of trips to the shops, number of trips to the market, income level. So like this, the independent variables are subdivided and they are categorized. So this relation between dependent variable to independent variable is nothing but category analysis. So categorized here, independent variables are categorized here. Okay, so basically they comes under zone based models or zonal based models. So this is the concept of category analysis. Categorized, divided, subdivided, splitted. This is the meaning of category analysis. So next we'll focus on zone based multiple regression equation. Zonal based multiple regression equation means, see, we are having two types of regression equation. One is zonal based equation, other one is household models. We have zonal models and other one is we have household models. See here, we have zonal models, second one we have household models. So what do you mean by zonal model and what do you mean by household model? Zonal model is a model, the total study area is divided into subgroups. In this individual area is treated as zones. This individual area is treated as zones and the information of complete zone is collected, means zonal characteristics are collected, not the individual. Okay, zonal characteristics are considered and collected. This zonal characteristics, whatever they are collected, they are filtered, scrutinized, later they have generated with some model. They have generated with model, and this model mainly consists of zonal information. This model mainly consists of zonal information. So this model now considered as zonal model. The model with the zonal information, it is now considered as zonal model. Next comes household model. What do you mean by household model? Let us focus on the same figure. See, this part is one zone now. Under this part, we are having n number of households. We are having n number of residents or household. What we will do in the home interview method, we will go to each and individual residence and will collect the information. We will go to each and individual residence and will collect the information. Okay. So this information, whatever we are going to collect, we are going to enter it in the Excel or the software, and later we are going to scrutinize it. We are going to remove the error factors, and after that we are going to create one model. We are going to relate with dependent variable and independent variable, like y is equals to a plus bx plus cy or cz, like that. So now this equation is MLR, multilinear regression equation. Why? Where y stands for dependent variable, that is number of trips. X and z stands for independent variable. X may be income level, z may be employment ratio or rate of employment. So this relation, that is between dependent variable to independent variables or number of trips to the household characteristics. So this model is created through household information. This model that is between dependent variable to independent variable, it is created with household information, individual information. This model now is treated as household model. Now this model is treated as household model. Zonal model means zonal characteristics are taken. Household model means individual residential or household characteristics are taken. But in both the cases, dependent and independent variables will be there. So after this, we'll focus on trip attraction, the concept of trip attraction. What do you mean by trip attraction? What do you mean by trip attraction? See, we have trip production, okay, we have trip production and trip attraction. We have trip production and we have trip attraction. We'll focus on the trip attraction. What do you mean by trip attraction now? See, let us consider a residence and a office. Residence and the office. Now this residence is at ward number or zone number 1, whereas this office is at ward number 6. So now the trip is started from ward number 1 and it ends at ward number 6. 1 to 6 it is in this direction. Okay, it is started from the ward number 1 and it ends at ward number 6. So now the production will be ward number 1 Attraction will be word number 6. So listen carefully. Production will be word number 1. Attraction will be word number 6. Okay. From the production area, the trips are generated because of household size. Because to fulfill the needs. Because to fulfill the needs. So trips are generated because of population. Okay. Because of population and because of household size. Household size. So this is trip production. What do you mean by trip attraction then? See here, 6, word number 6 is a trip attracted area. Trip attracted area, and here across word number 6 it is a employment area. Offices are there. So now trip attracted area is word number 6, and trip attraction purpose is for job, for employment. Now the reason is employment here. Why the trips are produced from the word number 1? Because of household size or the population. Because of head count. Higher the number of head count, higher will be the purpose. More peoples are there, so only they are going. This is the reason. What is the purpose of trip attraction here then at word number 6? Because of work, job, employment. Then see here at word number 6 there is a chance of work, employment, so only trips are attracted. The reason is employment. Now we need to create a model for this. We need to create a mathematical equation for this. It may be 1 order, 2 order or 3 order multilinear regression equation. So we need to create a model or a mathematical equation for this. So whatever the equation created for trip attraction, whatever the equation created for trip attraction, that equation is known as trip attraction model. That equation is known as trip attraction model. So in this problem number 4.2, you can see easily we are having 3 types of models. First model is y is equals to with the 2 independent variable, sorry 1 independent variable. Second model is with 3 independent variable. Third model it is with 2 independent variable. See, we can see here x1 is 1 independent variable, x2, x3, x4 are again 3 independent variables here, and on the third model we are having 1 and 2 independent variable, that is x1 and x4. So here each and every model has its own independent variable. See here, what do you mean by x1? Where y are work trips attracted to zone 6, as I told you, from 1 to 6. Then x1, what do you mean by x1 then here? X1 is total employment, it is because of work only the trips are attracted to zone number 6. Total employment is nothing but x1. Then what about x2? X2 is industrial employment. The employment created across the industry, only industry is known as industrial employment. What do you mean by x3? X3 is commercial employment, shops, commercial employment. X4 service employment, it is a service employment. Choose the most appropriate model, explain clearly. Means here, forget about this explain clearly. Choose the most appropriate model. How to choose the most appropriate model? For us, from word number 1 to 6 we are having these many options. Then how to choose the best model? So this best model is chosen with the help of R value, regression value. It is chosen with the help of regression value. Wherever the R value, when it is nearer to +1, then it is perfectly correlated and regretted, and with the R square nearer to 1, It is perfectly correlated. Correlated means relation between independent and dependent variable is strong here. So if this relation between independent and dependent variable is strong, then then in for the upcoming future, whatever the models we have created, that will give the accurate number of trips, that will give the accurate number of predicted trips they are going to give. So only, so how to choose the best model? With the help of R only. If this R value is nearer to 1 plus or minus 1, then this model is a very good fit. Okay, so this is about trip attraction models. Okay friends, so in the next class we will focus on the concept of trip distribution. Okay, we'll focus on the concept of trip distribution. So till now we discussed about trip generation. So what do you mean by trip generation? What do you mean by trip production? What do you mean by trip attraction? Oh, and definition of home based trips and definition of non home based trips we studied. Numerical problems we have solved. Even we focused on category analysis, that is cross classification. How it is categorized. Okay, we focused on what do you mean by zonal models. We focused on even what do you mean by household models. At last we came across what do you mean by trip attraction, how this trip production and trip attraction depends on what all variables this trip attraction and trip production depends. This we studied. And how to choose the best model. With the help of R value we can choose the best model. Even this we studied. Okay, in the next class we'll focus on the concept of trip distribution. In that trip distribution concept we have many of the trip distribution problems. We have many of the trip distribution problems like arithmetic mean method, furnace method, Frater method. Okay, so many methods are there. So these all methods we will study. Even we will solve some of the matrix problems for the trip generation, trip distribution. Present trip distribution values will calculate, and even we will calculate the future trip distribution values. The base and horizon year. Base year means the present values, present year. Horizon year or the horizon values are future values or future year. So these all concept we will study in the next class. So friends, so here completes the trip generation concept, and in the next class we'll focus with the